Auto, guys. In this one, I'm going to show you how I pack my golf bag for a flight across the country. I'm going to the inaugural TGL match, but I'm going to bring my golf clubs with me and play some golf. So I'm going to show you how I pack it into my club glove travel bag.
Quick note from the editor here. After coming home from my trip, I checked out my clubs and they all made it back safe and sound. Small sample size, but this method of packing my clubs has worked for me.
If you have any tips or tricks for other travelers, leave them in the comments below. But let's get started. For this video, the most important thing that I want you to take away if you don't watch the rest of it is this. Know the policy baggage of the airline that you're traveling with when it comes to golf clubs and travel. I'm actually flying Delta and Southwest. Obviously, a majority of all airlines allow golf bags in some capacity, but some rules are a little bit more strict than others. For instance, just reading Delta's website, they allow a golf bag to be packed, but they designate outside of the weight also what is concluded in packing in that golf bag. One golf bag which you're allowed to check in is a golf bag, one set of golf clubs, golf balls and tees, and one pair of shoes. Not like they're going to stop you, but it is in their policy to say that this is the only thing that should be included inside of your travel case, and you shouldn't be carrying a bunch of other stuff like towels or clothes or anything that isn't in this specific list. Southwest, on the other hand, for the contract of carriage for passengers, they don't specify what goes into your golf travel bag, but it has to be within a certain weight restriction. I've actually flown with Southwest, taken my clubs, put a bunch of stuff in there, and as long as it's under the weight, they didn't really bat an eye. One last thing that a lot of airlines do is that if you don't have a hard case, and this is not a hard case, this is a soft-sided case, they are not going to cover your clubs if they get damaged. All the policies have a way of kind of weaseling out of this when they say if you have a soft case, that you have to either sign something or they're not properly packed. They do not assume any liability for damages that happen to your clubs. Fortunately, I have never experienced damaged clubs, but I just wanted to let you know that information. Now let's get into actually packing the bag. All right, since both airlines have a 50-pound weight limit, my first step is to take out anything that I don't need that I have usually crammed in there because either I'm lazy or completely unnecessary for my trip. So let's get started. So we don't need this bag here. It has assorted, divot fixtures and ball marks and tees. Here's some old scorecards, a piece of cardboard I used to prop up my launch monitor at the range. Yeah, I have a water bottle in here. I should probably take this out and clean it. I have a whole nother bag here full of like cords, divot fixers, just a bunch of stuff maybe I don't need, like Sharpies and everything else. Also an Uncrustables wrapper, gotta get rid of that. A lot of golf balls in here. I'm probably just gonna bring a dozen, and I'm not going to a place where golf balls are extremely expensive or anything. So I'll probably just take a dozen, but all extras, gotta take them out, make things as light as possible. All right, step one complete. I'm as light as I can be. Now to get onto the actual packing part. All right, now that the bag is light as possible, next up is prepping the clubs to be packed. Let me remove these head covers here. And basically any club that has a removable head, I highly suggest you remove those. And if you have head covers, put those in the head covers and then pack them away in the bag. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so here is my Super Hybrid. And if this wasn't obvious, you put the screw back into the shaft here so you don't lose it when you're packing stuff and going across the country. So here is the Super Hybrid club head. Store it inside of the head cover and then put it in your bag. Next up, the mini driver. There are some club heads that are fortunate enough where the screw cannot be removed, and so you don't have to worry about losing that. So I don't have to screw the screw back into the shaft. We're gonna leave this as is. And just like the Super Hybrid, we're gonna store this in the head cover. It's going in the bag. Also, if you're forgetful like me, don't forget to take a picture of your settings. This driver adapter has a ton, and you don't want to have to figure out what your settings are before and after you assemble your clubs. What's nifty about a lot of these adapters, at least the collars don't come off here. You're not at risk of losing anything here. And just like the mini driver, the screw doesn't come all the way out, so I don't have to screw it back into the tip. We're gonna put this in the head cover, call it a day. So now we have the shafts here. We're just gonna put them in the slots here and give them a home. And just like that, we're good to go. Also, don't forget to pack the wrench. I know maybe a lot of people might forget this at home, but there'll most likely be someone around that will have it, but you don't want to depend on anyone else to get your clubs back in order. All right, now that that is settled, it's time to get these clubs into the actual travel case. All right, so this here is a stiff arm. This is gonna be your friend when you're traveling. My club glove bag came with a stiff arm. You basically want to take the stiff arm and make sure it's just above all your clubs here where there's not that much tolerance, so things are nice and secure. So what I try to do is I kind of move things around and make sure my most valuable club, which is probably my putter, put that into the middle, and then I put the stiff arm into the putter hole like so. And then I'll adjust this accordingly to be a little bit above the topmost item. But now we're gonna put the clubs into the bag. So it's pretty simple here. We're just gonna lay it down. A lot of different manufacturers who have travel cases will have, different odds and ends to secure the bag. This one has extra clips in here to make sure everything is secure. So now that I know that it's gonna fit in here, The stiff arm is all good. What people do in addition is get things like towels or even golf shoes, and I'll get my golf shoes in a bit. I forgot to bring them. And they try to bolster the top part. So when things fall or things get pressed onto the top of your clubs, something else will take the weight instead of the clubs themselves. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my golf shoes and then stick them all around here. And then I have like an extra towel that I'll also pack into here to make sure my clubs are as protected as possible when they get thrown around into the undercarriage of the airplane. Here's my shoes in the bag. I'm gonna wrap the towel underneath here just to give a little bit extra protection. So I have the towel underneath wrapped through the clubs. Unfortunately, my clubs are same length. And then I have the shoes on top. I'm just gonna zip it up. Should be good to go. Clip 1, clip 2, clip 3. All right, so now that everything's all packed up, I see people take advantage of the 50-pound weight limit and put extra pair of shoes, put a jacket, or put some extra clothes in here, what have you. One thing I do recommend if you do have an iPhone is to put an AirTag in your bag. Let me know if you have any tips or tricks when traveling with your golf clubs. Let me know if you do soft case or hard case, but hope you guys enjoy that one. Keep chasing, and we'll see you in the next one.